We're live, brother.
All right, here it is. The start of something great. This is Blessed in the West. Here with my boy, Dave Paris. Thank you very much for helping me with this. It's been in my head for a long time, wanted to get started in the little podcast scene and feel like I have a lot to say. Been through a lot. And I was fortunate enough to meet this man right here. And he brought me on to his podcast. And I did my interview, and I guess he found something he liked. Thought maybe we could do something more, and that brings us here. And I thank him for trusting me and allowing me to come into his studio and devoting his time to try to make something grow. Hopefully, whoever's listening to this continues to listen to future ones, help us grow. Um, Today is a very bittersweet day for me. Very, very, very bittersweet. But I'm shedding my old self. Um, I was part of a motorcycle club for 5 years. I was hanging around them even longer than that, but I was actually in for 5 years. And today just so happens to be the day that I hung up my vest. And today just so happens to be the day that I'm starting my first podcast. So, in a sense, I mean, it does suck that that was a lifestyle that I was living before and that I love, a club that I love, and but I mean, I must shed on to new things. So, yeah, it's dope that I'm here on this day to be able to talk about moving on, and growing, um, following your dreams, doing what you feel is right or what you feel in your heart instead of just listening to what people tell you or doing what you think is going to be cool. You know, I stuck around with that club for a little while just to, even though I knew I should have kind of moved on already, couldn't get over that lingering joy or lingering ego boost, I guess you could say, of being from a motorcycle club, and getting that attention. So that's kind of why I stuck around. And I mean, honestly, that's why a lot of people are in motorcycle clubs for that ego boost. And don't get me wrong, we love riding, we love everything, but it is what it is. And luckily, I've been able to expand my mind in psychedelics, I guess, and realize what really does matter and what doesn't matter. And and I mean, not to talk bad on anyone in the motorcycle club or motorcycle scene, but it's just an extra distraction from doing a lot of things. You know, I knew it would take a lot of time to do both. Trying to do this podcast stuff, trying to do a comedy career, get it started, work, and be from a motorcycle club. I knew it wouldn't work out, so yeah, I decided to do what I have to do and let go of whatever might boost my ego and step in somewhere where I'm going to be humbled and I'm going to have to put in that work to get my ego boosted. Because as of now, I mean, I have 0 followers. I'm a nobody. So it's just from here on up. You have to put in that work and Yeah. Uh, you have anything you want to say, Dave? Or, I mean,
How long were you in the motorcycle club?
yeah, I was in the club for 5 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I would say is that it's good, man. I'm happy uh to meet you right now. It's a great time when you're exploring new territory and just getting out and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I met Dave about 2 months ago, maybe at an open mic. We're both starting off doing open mic comedy, trying to get our sets down, and hopefully we end up getting booked. But it's cool, we hit it off, and I admire where he's at and what he's done in his life. That's what really gravitated me towards this guy. Um, he's been all over the place. He's been traveled all over the world. Fucking took off on his own, and and that shit's dope. That's a life that I wish I could have lived because he's really got in touch with nature, with himself. He's had different experiences to where this is all I really know right here, Los Angeles area, San Gabriel Valley area. I was always doing the same shit, like growing up, it was house parties and fucking smoking weed, tagging. Uh, Grew up 20 something years old. I think I started riding motorcycles at 21, and that's what my life was. That's all it consisted of: riding motorcycles, getting fucked up, getting drunk, fighting motherfuckers, doing other dumb shit. But sometimes you have to sit back and think like, what's it all worth? What's it all worth? What could I really be doing? Um, yeah, and I trip out. I trip out. I trip out because I've dodged death a lot of times. So it makes me feel like I must have some type of purpose. And hopefully everyone feels like that. They have a purpose because everyone does.
Yeah, I think that's why the system works so well. Like, I was telling you earlier I went to LA today and I walked into the um, office building there, and there was a guy. You ever see at the office buildings they have these little signs that say stay 6 feet apart, and there's a little circle. And so we walk up there. Excuse me. We walk up there to the front desk guy, and I guess he was on the phone, and he's going like, back up, back up, back up, back up. And he's like, you got to step on the circle. And I'm like, what? Like, no one's in here. Like, they're the only ones in here. And then he asked us where we're going. And then, like, no hi, nothing. How are you doing? Like, just, where are you going?
Yeah.
We're going to this place. Okay. Guard number 5. Follow the guard. And I'm like, okay. We go to the guard. She doesn't even look at us. She puts us in an elevator and she has her back turned towards us. And I mean, I just like, I'm like thinking like, what's their normal like? What's their normal day like? She's probably not getting like going to the restaurants. She's probably getting DoorDash.
Probably.
I don't know. She had one of those masks on that were like, the two circles
Oh
on the
shit.
mask.
Yeah, yeah. Like super protecting.
Yeah.
Like super duper protection.
Yeah. And so like, like, I wonder what she thinks her purpose is. I don't know.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
mean,
people don't know. That's the problem. She probably doesn't know. She probably thinks her purpose is to save the save the people one by one.
yeah, I mean, no, it's no judgment towards her. I just, um, I started just reflecting on my own life, actually. Like, who am I to say if someone has a purpose or not? I mean, I'm not, I don't want to go down that road. I'm not saying I'm judging her, like, on anything like that, but it was just interesting to think, like, what
Who is
was
she?
going on with that, and
Like with the whole like, it's just her authority. I mean, most security guards, if they're acting like that, it's just because they feel like they have that authority and they have that ego. Same thing, that ego, fucking, you
yeah,
know.
but she's a
And
security guard at an office building, you
well,
know.
yeah, that's why she's like, she feels like entitled, I guess. No.
I mean, she doesn't have like law. She's not a police officer or anything.
Most security guards don't feel like that, unfortunately. I mean, even like fucking a Walmart fucking they check their fucking receipt. I hate those
I don't
motherfuckers.
check. I don't let them check my receipt.
Sometimes I don't. I used to not. When I was younger, I used to be a dick. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be a dick. I would like just
But
walk
you're not
by.
being a dick by not showing
I
them
mean, you're not.
your
You're
receipt.
not. But I mean, if I'm by myself, still sometimes like I'll just walk by. If there's a line of people, I'm fucking walking by. But if I
Yeah.
have my kid with me, I fucking wait. I'm not gonna lie. I wait and but it's part of a fucking system, and I know it is part of a fucking system. Like,
Once you buy those items at
yeah, it's yours.
Walmart,
Yeah,
it's
it's
your
yours.
private
Yeah,
property. It'd be like if somebody came up to you and said, "Could you show me what's in your wallet?" Like, no, it's none of your business what's in my
yeah,
wallet. It's none of your. Do you have, unless they have reason to believe that you've stolen something, and which you can ask them at that point. You can ask, like, if they say, "I need to check your receipt," and I said, "Well, do you have some reason to
yeah,
believe that I've stolen something? Because if you do, then like you need to show it to me right now because you can't detain me. I'm
yeah.
not I'm
No,
not
no,
walking
you're
like
right.
you're not. They're not a law enforcement. They're employees that work at a store. You know.
Yeah, they're right. That's why when I was like 20 years old, 18, 20, I wouldn't show up. And then and then it got to the point where like if they were really fucking like, hey, give me your receipt, I'll give it to them, and then I'll keep on walking, and they would just be stuck right there with it in their hand. But now I've grown up, I'm trying to be like a better person, and most of those people are old, they're like old people, so I don't want to be like a dick, I
Yeah, but if
guess.
you have the right to refuse.
But no, I've thought about it lately. Like, man, I'm just gonna fucking. But like I said, if there's a line of people, I go by. I mean, yeah, I just go by. If there's 3 or 4 people, I'm not waiting. If it's open and the lady's right there, then fuck it. I'll show the lady my fucking ticket. But you're right. You don't have to, and it's a system that they're just trying to fucking get you used to, along with fucking everywhere else.
Yeah, I mean you have a choice. I mean you don't have to. Like I don't even like to go there to Walmart, but I mean I know that there's nothing that they can do unless they have some evidence
Yeah,
that I've stolen something. They're not going to detain me. And once they touch you, that's assault. Especially if they don't have any reason to believe that you've stolen something, they can't like cuz once they touch you, that's basically them detaining you.
yeah,
And the law doesn't go with that, like there's a problem with that once somebody touches you. There's actually a police ex-police officer here that
oh
works
yeah,
here. It'd
oh
be fun to have him one day.
yeah. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Just bring them on.
But he's the one that told me all about that. Like
Yeah,
he was the first one to tell me. He's like, you don't have to show him your receipt because that's your private property.
yeah,
Once you pay for
yeah.
those
It's
goods,
yours. Yeah,
it's yours.
yeah. But yeah, fuck the government. No, I'm just kidding. No, yeah, it's all a system. But hopefully people could break out of it. That's the problem. A lot of people are stuck in the system and stuck in the fads, stuck in the fucking what's cool and who likes me and how many likes do I have on Instagram and shit like that. When there's like so much shit to see, getting drunk, they're always. That's one thing. That's one thing I'm happy I was able to stray away from. In that, like, I trip out on people, because I have friends that are like 40 years old, 45 years old, and they're still stuck on going to the bar every weekend, and it's like, dude, like, there's a lot of the world out there, like, to see, to like be doing the same shit all the time. I mean, I don't know. I feel like not to knock on anyone, but I just feel like there's like that's what life is about, like life like part of like the like matrix or part of the little system or like what they want you to think is cool and what they want you to like enjoy. it's really shit that's just fucking you up, you know? Like you're in the fucking bar every weekend spending $100, $200 on fucking poison when you could fucking be like out at the beach for free, or you know, fucking hiking for free, like, and your body is better, you know? You're getting vitamin D from the sun, you're getting fresh oxygen from the ocean, from the trees, and but they don't want you to do that shit, you know? They don't want you to live like that. So, and it sucks, you know, cuz like you see like that's why the generations, younger generations are how they are, cuz these parents are 40, 45 years old fucking partying with their kids that are fucking 20 years old, you know, 18, 20 years old, getting them drunk and like showing them that this is cool. The moms are showing the daughters that it's cool to hook up with a different guy every fucking weekend from a bar, you know, and vice versa for men, you know, like men shouldn't be doing that shit either, like um but I mean, yeah, I mean, what does that show the kids, you know? What does that show the 18-year-old kid that's like, oh fuck yeah, that's what life is about, and it just gets worse and worse when, whereas like, you know, if someone were to have kids like me, like I grew up doing that shit. I was partying since I was 15 years old. Here I am, 31, and I have my son, and uh,
Yeah, man. I've just always like lately I've been taking the perspective that you can't change everyone. Like the only person you can really change is yourself.
yeah,
And like I remember like moving back here, I was living away for a while and coming back here and I had this same idea. I'm like, I want to, I want everyone to change and I want, like what's up with these kids? And I just feel like, one thing that really stuck with me is that you have to be the change that you want to see in the world.
yeah,
And just go into the light.
yeah. That's what I've been trying to do, you know, and like I said, I'm trying to introduce that to my son, you know, because like I said, like you said, be the change you want to see in the world. So it's like I can't show my son that it's cool to fucking be out at fucking parties. And like, yeah, I have friends that I could go take him with me and go party or go to the fucking Buffalo Wild Wings and have beers and drive home all fucked up like my dad used to do to me, you know, like maybe not Buffalo Wild Wings, but we'd go at parties, you know, or we'd be at fucking dinner or whatever with friend of his friends, and you know, like I remember that shit. And so growing up, like, hey, that was cool, that was normal. I'm fucking, you know, like partying, whatever. But now, like, and I was kind of like, my son was kind of seeing that, but I'm like, nah. So I started taking him out, hiking, fishing, and getting him more in touch with that shit, you know? Because it's like you said, like, I want him to know that, and it's cool because he wants to do that type of stuff, you know? He wants to go out, hey, let's go fishing. And it's cool because it's all right, like, he's not trying to sit on his tablet all day or, you know, do something like I feel like that's the kind of stuff that could keep him away from the bullshit. Cause I mean, I started getting sucked into the dumb shit at like 12 years old, even earlier than that. But like at 12, I was fucking smoking, drinking, fucking not coming home till fucking like 1 in the morning, you know. So and thinking about it now, it's like I don't want to see my kids doing that shit, you know. So it's like you have to try to show them better.
Well, I think kids just mimic what their parents are doing most of the time.
Yeah, that's
So,
why I have to try to do better and show him different.
yeah, dude, just be the example, be
Yeah.
the person that you want to see. I don't know, man. I mean,
Cause you have a kid, right? You have
yeah,
a boy or
I have a boy. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
How old?
He's gonna be 3.5 soon.
How is it?
It's good, man. Um, I mean, it's just a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
Before I had him, I was, yeah, just I wouldn't say irresponsible, but I didn't really, you know, I wasn't thinking so far into the future or trying to set up something. I was just traveling a lot and And then now it's like I don't know. It's one of the, it's a weird thing, man. I mean, like what we were talking about earlier. Like the system, I think, kind of tries to trap you into a certain way of living to distract you from your purpose. And I can see how when people have children, especially, their focus is not anymore on their purpose, but their love for their child, and they start doing whatever they need to do, you know. And then I sometimes I sometimes struggle with that a little bit of like remembering who I am and going into the world like that, like using that as my personal life but also as my business life. And you know, but it's you know, honestly, it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's one of the most beautiful things that I've got to experience, to have someone that I have unconditional love for. And yeah, I just I want everything, you know, all the best for him. And with me, like before him, I think like we've talked about it before, where I mean, I used to like sleep, you know, under a bush. And I would just be like, you know, out, man. I would just have my backpack and I would just be walking around and just not thinking about really, like, you know, am I going to have a home one day? Am I going to like own anything?
Were you like on any drugs or anything at that time, or you were just living, or?
Oh, what do you like? What is your definition of drugs?
All right, like hard drugs, like meth or like crack.
Oh,
or
no,
like
no,
anything.
no, no, no.
Like, what were you? What were? So, what's your definition? Like, what were you on, or like, what were you? You were just like taking like, like, no, you don't talk. You don't.
Oh no, I mean, I was just laughing because I was thinking, I mean, just the presence, man, is a drug. You know, fresh air.
Yeah, hey, no,
But
that's right. Yeah, no,
if I'm just being totally honest
living.
with you, I really enjoyed during those times. I really enjoyed cannabis.
Yeah, yeah.
And actually, during that time, I wouldn't buy any because I was so broke that all the money that I was spending on was food.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, you're
you know,
living.
You're living. If I'm gonna spend $20 on a gram or something, then it's like, you know, it's, you know, sometimes you know, 10%. You know? So, but I also really enjoyed it because then somebody would come along and they would have some, or I'd get some somehow.
It would work out,
and it would be incredible because I hadn't done that in a while. But no, man, I actually one of the things that I enjoy most about being in that type of situation is that you don't have the opportunity to use clutches. You know, like if you're traveling, you're living outside, then you always gotta, you know, do something. Like, I guess the best way I can say for people to understand is that when you're living at your home, everything's always set up like that. You know, you come back home, you turn on the hot water, you take a shower, you cook something, you chill. When you're out on the road, when you're walking around for endlessly, you're always there's always these new things that you have to deal with. Is there a homeless guy over here? Where am I gonna sleep tonight? Oh, I didn't eat anything. Where do I get the next train? Is anybody? I would hitchhike a lot too, so I would spend like all day on the side of the highway, and I would just be with my thumb out.
In different countries, huh?
In different countries, yeah. I hitchhike in Europe also. Yeah, and but you know, so you don't like, you're kind of always like moving, and you got to stay on top of yourself, on top of your game. So yeah, I wasn't using too much, just cannabis, you know.
Drinking or anything?
No, I wasn't drinking. I wasn't drinking. Yeah, man, for like 7 years.
That's dope. So you're just living. You're just doing it on your own. Just living and
I mean, I would drink, but then like I said, I was bare minimum. I only spend money on food and an occasional bus ticket or something.
How would you get money?
So at that time, I would save a bunch of money usually, and then I would go.
Like, you just find money on the floor, beg, like ask money, or?
No. I mean, I would have a job for a while, like maybe 6 months or something.
Okay.
And then I would just save, like really tight. and then I would just take off.
Just take off to the next place, huh?
I mean, honestly, man, as soon as I had enough money for a bus ticket, I would just do it.
That's dope.
I had like a credit card once. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna get a credit card, and then just at the end, when I crash back here in LA, I'm gonna get a job and I'm gonna pay it off. So I would do that sometimes.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, I almost when I was 21, I almost moved to Miami. I almost same thing pretty much. I was saving up money. I was working for like I was doing construction. I was saving up money, and I was gonna sell my motorcycle, and with whatever money I had, I think I was planning to have like around 10 to 15,000 after I sold my motorcycle and had whatever I had saved. I was gonna get an apartment out there, have it paid for 2 months, and same thing, just try to find a job. And if I make it, I make it. If not, come back to LA. But it's a trip because I took off to Vegas for a weekend, and my roommate ended up kind of crashing my motorcycle, so it made it a little bit more difficult to sell. And then I ended up finding out I had a daughter.
Oh.
So yeah, that kind of like that brings us back to the like oh, you have your kids, so you have to do what you have to do for them. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I went from being fucking single, fucking, to having a. She was pretty much almost 2 years old.
Oh, you
She
found
was,
out two
yeah.
years
I
later.
found out I had a daughter, like born.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So. So yeah, I mean that just like
Yeah.
that pretty much just put a whole halt on my life. Like
Mm.
anything I was thinking of doing, anything like yeah, like I was ready to take off. Like I was literally,
Mm.
and then yeah, it was just boom. From there, it was just work. Um, I just had to work and take care of my daughter, and then I had a son, and then it really was fucking. All I could do was work, but it's cool, Now that I'm over here, like maybe I could do it without having to go to work a 9 to 5 like regular person.
Yeah, man. It's whatever you want to do. It's possible. Just do it. I really think that, man. I really feel like whatever you like spend a lot of time on, whatever your passions are,
Yeah,
if you spend enough time doing what you're passionate about doing, then something's gonna happen from it. You know. Um, yeah, it's hard, man. Once you have a kid, I think you're a little less. I think people like in my case, I became a little more hard on myself, like really kind of trying to reach out and do something, and yeah, I just feel like it's good to work smart and not hard. Like don't ever forget. Like I tell myself, don't ever forget your the value my ass like the value that I have and what I can bring. And yeah, because when you're doing some job first, like you're working for somebody else, you're basically helping somebody else's vision. The
right.
owner of the company has a vision of what he wants,
Yeah,
and you're just basically working under him. And I think that's a big thing that's hopefully happening now with like all this financial situation as people are waking up to their own power, their own purpose, um and yeah, man. I mean, I want to get as far away from that as possible. I definitely don't want to spend my life doing work for someone else. I
yeah,
want to expand on my vision and expand on the things that I do. I mean, like I said, I like collaborating and doing things that are in line with myself,
okay.
and I enjoy that kind of stuff. Um, And I feel like, that was like a big opening for me too, is like realizing that the more authentic that I am with the people that are around me, then the more real like my life gets.
Yeah.
Like I try to tell, I don't know, some people ask me sometimes for advice or something. Like people, I get asked these funny questions, and like a lot of it has to do with dating. And I always just say, just be yourself, always just be yourself. Because in my life, when I was trying to do something that wasn't right, like for example, like I don't know, when I was younger, I would dress up, I would try to like impress and have like, I paid a lot of attention to what I'm wearing, let's
Yeah.
say. But that has nothing to do with a relationship. Maybe a little bit. I mean, you want to like how somebody dresses, but the real thing in a relationship is that bond, that connection with someone. And it's not just in relationships, like intimate relationships, but all the relationships, your business relationships, your personal relationships, all these things really matter.
Yeah.
And if you're inauthentic, then a lot of the connections that you're going to have with your environment are going to be reflecting that lack of authenticity. So in other words, if you're not authentic, then you're going to get others that are kind of doing the same thing, and there's not going to be that real connection.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't remember what your question was.
I don't know either. I think it had something to do with kids. I don't know.
Yeah, dude, kids is tough, man.
Yeah, kids is tough.
But it's also beautiful, man. I had, it was another funny, like, there was another, ever see those TED Talks?
Yeah.
I saw a TED Talk with this guy. He had 3 kids, and one of his advice was when things get hard, play harder. And I think about that too, because sometimes, like you said, we get wrapped up thinking, okay, I got to take care of this. I better just work this job. But actually, like the times in my life where I've taken big risk and I've just gone for it, things usually work out. Like when my son was 1 years old, that's when I moved to Mexico.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I was wrapped up in like crypto. I had an online job, so it was a little easier for me. But like when I would talk to other people about it, they're like, "That sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean?" I was living in Lithuania,
Uh-huh.
and so just totally across the world in Mexico. But and I was a little scared about it, but I had a friend in Mexico that was gonna let us live with him, and I just felt right about it. It was like this guy. It was actually a couple, another couple with. At the time, they only had one, and me and my wife were like, let's just do it. Let's get out of here, because it was the pandemic was just starting in Lithuania, and it got to this point where you couldn't even walk outside. I mean, they were like really cracking down on people.
Yeah.
And I thought, let's get out of here. This is like
Yeah.
really weird. And so I sold some crypto and I bought some tickets and we flew to Mexico. And everything worked out, man. Everything was like, and that, I think that's the thing too that people don't realize, is that in anything that you decide to do in your life, you're gonna have a struggle.
Yeah.
Nothing, you're never gonna get to this place. Maybe, I don't know. I just feel like for me it helps to think I'm not gonna get to this point where there's just no problems anymore, and all I do is just walk around my yard.
Yeah.
I mean, even that, your age, you get older, and anyways, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I think that's like the real like barrier sometimes when you're trying to do something, is that there's resistance usually on whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
But if you can break through it, what you're seeking is right over that. Like once you have that breakthrough,
Yeah.
it's gonna get easier, and then you're gonna have another challenge.
Yeah.
And then boom, you break through that and become stronger and wiser. You have another challenge, boom, and before you know it, yeah, your life's getting a little easier. But everyone's always going through something, whether it's in your relationship, like your personal life, or your business life. It's always, it's a journey.
It makes me think of, I seen like a meme a long time ago, long time ago, and this when I was going through like some crazy shit. Like, I think it might even been around the time when I was fucking like finding out about my daughter and shit. But I seen some fucking, it was like a meme or whatever, and it was like, like on when you have like in your hospital, they have the heartbeat thing,
Yeah.
and it goes like up and down,
Yeah.
and it said like, if there were no ups and downs in your life, you wouldn't be alive, you know. And that shit kind of hit me because like
Yeah.
fuck, like that's true, you know, like that's just so that shit kind of hit me, um, and it's true though, because like you're saying, there's been a lot of times where I left like one company, and I'm like fuck, it's not working out here, and I leave that job or I get fired from that job, they lay me off, whatever, and I think it's gonna like be worse, and I end up getting a better job,
There you
and
go.
and it's happened to me like many times, you know,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's a trip because it's like as long as you like take that leap and you try to like and you have those best intentions and you put in that little bit of work and you have that positive mindset, like it is gonna work out, you know. And yeah, like
I
it's
believe that.
it's dope because it's a trip actually because I seen a fucking picture in my like memories that
Hmm.
came up a couple days ago, and it was when I had like barely got a job at at some construction company. It was like I posted a picture and I was like, oh, I think the caption said like, thank the man upstairs for a new job or something like that, and it ended up being a pretty shitty job. Ended up being a pretty shitty fucking job. Like that fool, he didn't want to pay me for like 2 weeks. I had to like threaten him with the labor board and shit. But I ended up leaving that job and I found a better job. You know, like
Yeah.
fucking, and then I left that job, found a fucking another better job, and then that's when I realized, you know what, like I kind of decided, like, I want to be a fucking an operator, like tractor operator, which is what I
Hmm.
do now. But I was like, I want that to be my title, and boom, I made it happen, you know. And yeah, like that shit's dope because it's like you said about like not having goals really when you were younger. Like yeah, when I took that picture, I remember I didn't have really goals. I was just fucking working a job, you know. And then as time went on, I realized, oh shit, like I need to do something. I have kids, you know. After that, I had kids, and I
Hmm.
was like, fuck, I have kids now. I have to fucking do something. Um, so that's when I made the goal. Like, all right, I want to get, cause I think I was like 27 at the time when I started thinking this. Like, all right, I want a fucking, I want an apartment. You know, I need a place to live, cause I was bouncing from house to house, renting room here, going back to my mom's couch, renting a room there. So I was fucking doing all that, you know. So I was like, fuck, all right, I need a fucking house. I didn't have a driver's license. My license was suspended. I was always getting pulled over. I was like, fuck, I need to take care of that. Like, it was just a lot of shit, you know, a lot of shit piling up on me that like I fucking was like, all right. And then and it's a trip because I come my 30th birthday, I had all that shit that I wanted that I set that goal for. You know what I'm saying? And I guess that was like my first time really even setting a goal.
Hmm.
And like, and at that time, that's when I kind of learned about manifestation and shit like that. And then like I look back at like other shit in my life that like I guess like I kind of manifested, but I didn't really realize I manifested it, you know. But just realizing, but but yeah, it's crazy, you know, to think like I went from like having like no, like we said, purpose, having no purpose, no goal, just working, and that was it, to like hitting a goal, you know, and like being like, oh shit. And it's a trip because like I hit that goal, like I'm at where I wanted to be in life. Let's say 10 years ago, you know, when I was fucking 20 years old, if you would have told me, hey, you're gonna have your own fucking apartment, you're gonna have a fucking cool car, you're gonna have a motorcycle, you're gonna have two baby mamas, like I would have been like, fuck yeah, shit, I'm living the life, man. I'm good. But now I'm looking at it, I'm like, fuck, like, I mean, that's cool, but is that what life is about? You know, like what have I done? You know, what? what do people think of me? Like, so that's why I'm like, all right, like it's time for something new, you know? And so yeah, like I've been I heard some quote actually today or a couple days ago, yesterday, some shit, real recently. I forget exactly, I forget exactly what it said, but it said like if you live if you live simpler, watch how much easier life gets, or some shit like that, you know? And it made me think, cause I'm like, fuck, like honestly, like if I were to get rid of this fucking car payment, if I get rid of this fucking apartment payment, just rent a room somewhere. It's just me. I'm hardly home. Like, just rent a room. What do I need a fucking big ass apartment for? You know, I'm constantly stressing on paying bills for that. Same thing with this car. Why do I need this fucking fancy car when I could fucking buy a fucking car that's worth two payments, you know? And I could be stacking that money away and doing these trips that I want to do, traveling and making real experiences compared to just having these. I mean, I wouldn't say materialistic things because a home. I mean, you definitely need a home, and but I mean, uh, unnecessary things. Because I mean, it's just me. So why do I need an apartment and spending so much money on an apartment when I could have a room? Like you said, comes down to like just living life, being in a simple form, living life. You slept wherever you slept, you got by however. And I mean, like I said, I admired that. Like I was like, "Fuck, that's dope." Like I would be down to kind of do something. That's, I guess this is along the same lines, but it kind of gives me that like same kind of like concept. Like, oh, I just sleep here, you know, and I'm out fucking doing whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good though to have like a real vision, like, you know, a couple things. I guess one is that, you know, it's not about making things easier too. Like living on a farm is actually quite difficult, especially if you have chickens
Chickens and
and
cows and
trees and like you're taking care of stuff.
yeah.
But I think there's something to be said about the quality of life that you get when you live closer to the
Oh,
earth
definitely.
and you start
I
to
love it. I love it.
pay attention to the cycles, the sun, the seasons. Um, and you know, I like for me, I've been in Los Angeles now for 3 months, and yeah, I'm not like paying attention too much. Like, I mean, I look at the clouds and stuff like that, but like I think about the past times that I've spent where I've like I don't know, I've lived outside for like a month at a time, and after like first 2 weeks, it's like boom, you feel like really integrated. I remember I was living in Texas,
Uh-huh.
and there was these what is it called? There's like these little needles. They grow mesquite. The mesquite tree has these pines on it, these picks.
Okay.
And when you're walking through the land that I was staying on, you would usually get it caught on your leg. You would scratch yourself. But after 2 weeks, I wasn't. And I was like not thinking about not scratching myself either. I was just walking through there and not getting scratched. And
That's sick.
you know, like yeah, it's a great connection that you can feel with the earth, and you can
Cause
like pick up on certain things.
it makes me think about like ancient like Indians or Mayans, you know, all running through the jungle and shit. Like, cause if you really think about it, like those motherfuckers have to be on it to run. Like even with shoes on, you
Well,
try
dude,
running when you're hiking or
e-
something. Like,
even the shoes also, like if you know, people weren't wearing shoes for a
yeah,
long
that's what.
time,
Yeah,
and their feet look a lot different.
I've heard of that. Yeah, they're like kind of like hands, right? Like they've because they climb trees and shit. So kind of similar to like a primate's feet and shit. That's a trip. Makes you think. Like
Yeah,
makes
they're
you
just
think.
trying to get us smaller and smaller. The living spaces are smaller, you know.
Yeah.
We're wearing these little shoes, and everyone's feet are really
Fucking
thin.
fucking them up. Fucking
Plastic in
shrinking
the
us.
food.
Fuck. Plastic in the food, in the blood, in the fucking vaccines.
Yeah, man.
Fucking vaccines.
Oh yeah, I watched TV today for the first time in a while.
Yeah. What'd you see?
Just commercials. I saw the vaccine commercials. Um,
Just commercials.
Mostly
There's a
commercials.
vaccine commercial?
Oh, dude, it's still hot, man.
No.
It's like this video of a family at home, and there's like a girl that comes home after school, and she's like, "I got the vaccine because I didn't want my brother to get sick." And they put a little Band-Aid on her. It's like a Walgreens.
Sounds cute.
And there's like a pregnant lady. I noticed there was a pregnant lady getting the vaccine, but it said actor. You know, like
after?
No, it says actor.
Oh.
Like not a real
Yeah.
patient. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, fucking me. Fucking vaccine.
But it's a whole psyop, man. I mean, the whole thing, the television, it's like it has something to do with telepathy. Like you have enough people with one vision. I was actually thinking about it on the way over here today. Is, you know, like what you see going on in the world right now is I like, to me, is that everyone's vision of what life is all scrambled. And every once in a while, which I'm not sure why they do this, but they try to get everyone thinking the same thing. And I think it creates, like, they use this energy somehow, you know, like, well, it's
how
fear.
I think they do it? I've thought about kind of the same thing. I think, like, it all was, like, a test with that fucking, the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Oh, you probably weren't even around. You probably don't even know the Popeyes chicken sandwich fad, huh?
I remember Popeye, but
The chicken sandwich. There was this big fad here in the United States where people were going crazy over this fucking chicken sandwich. And this was like pre-COVID shit. Pre-COVID.
All right.
Maybe like a year before COVID. You're laughing. No, too bad we don't have our Jamie here.
Oh, I know. We gotta get.
He could have looked it up for you. Yeah, fucking.
I actually can probably do it myself here. Actually,
fucking. It was it was like a big fucking thing here in the United States, across the whole country. People were getting killed over this fucking chicken sandwich. People were sitting in line for like an hour.
Popeye's chicken.
Popeye's chicken sandwich. It came out, but like, so I feel like it was like the government fucking took over like maybe like 1,000 or 50,000 Facebook accounts, you know, Instagram fake ones, and just send out like this max like, oh, this Popeye's chicken sandwich is so great, and that was like their little tester, you know, to see like, are we gonna be able to get them, like you said, all on the same fucking little mindset? You looking it up or what?
I was trying to find something on it, but I don't see anything that says like, you know, like everyone's going and getting it. There's just a bunch of stuff on it, but
this was like pre-COVID.
Yeah, I don't see anything. But I mean, but what do you think? What's the intention behind that?
Well,
What do you
that
think?
was like you said, to get everyone in that same mindset. That was just to see like, will it work, you know? So they did that, because like I said, you don't see, so you don't know. Shit was fucking nuts. Shit was fucking nuts.
Well, I think like even just the president, like the whole line of order of like power in the country, you know, like they program us to obey authority.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, because then it goes to COVID, because then COVID came out maybe like a year later, and that's when they fucking were able to, and then it was, I don't know if you weren't here either, so you probably still don't remember the fucking toilet paper.
I remember the toilet paper.
The toilet paper. Well, they were doing it over there, or
no? But I was here like right when the pandemic started.
Okay.
I actually got stuck here. I was trying to fly back to Lithuania.
Yeah, it was the toilet paper. The toilet paper and what was it? The water or some shit. But yeah, the toilet paper for some reason. But I feel like that was also the government pushing. Like, let's see, you know. And then came the COVID, the fucking actual COVID shit, stay home shit, the fucking vaccine. They just wanted to see, can we get these motherfuckers all thinking the same, doing the same shit? Like, how are we gonna target them? You know?
Oh, but I mean, even before that, man. I mean, there's a store on the corner of the block. Like, everybody goes to their own store, and they can basically track you on your cell phone anytime. Everyone has their money in the bank, and I mean, like what we were talking about earlier, people are trapped in this rat race, trying to like. It's just like a rat race, man. People are just running on like a circle, like the little rat running on on a little
The little treadmill, huh?
treadmill.
Or
Yeah.
whatever that shit is.
Um. Yeah, it's a I don't know, but you know the nice thing about getting out, man, which is like why I always really tell people like yeah to get out of here, especially LA, is because you I don't know, it's just different in other places. I was in LA, I was telling you earlier, like I went to the grocery store after, and it's just interesting to be in this place. There's so many people, and it's a small store, and you know like I don't know. I don't know. I just have a hard time sometimes coming into the city and integrating into here and like picking up on the culture. Like I don't get it, a lot of the stuff here. Like what people are doing. Like this toilet paper thing. I thought it was really funny. I told you I went to India, and I got when I was there, I got really familiar with cleaning. Like when you take a shit, you just clean yourself with water. They don't have toilet paper in India. I mean, they do, but nobody has it. I didn't see any. And so you just have to wipe with you pour like water over your anus and you just like clean yourself. You wash your hands. Like a lot of people just take a shower. Like after they poop,
Yeah.
they just go take a shower. So yeah, well, like, I don't know. I was doing that for like a while pre-COVID, you know?
Yeah.
And I was just like, I don't care. I would like, when I was living by myself, I was like, well, I'm not going to spend any money for toilet paper because I don't need toilet paper. I can just clean my ass with water and just
I
take
do
a
that
shower.
sometimes. I do that sometimes. I take a shit and take a shower after.
Yeah.
I hate taking a shit after I take a shower. I hate that shit.
Oh, yeah. It just messes your whole thing up. It's like
Kills
getting,
it all.
yeah.
Just like re-dirties your whole fucking body.
Yeah, man. Actually, the people that I was staying with in India, it's like religious to them. Every time you poop, you
Shower after.
take a shower.
That's
like
good.
no questions asked.
That's good. You want to hear a funny story? Poop
Yeah.
story? Fucking
Could I get a little bit of that just to
yeah,
taste it,
fuck yeah.
just to see what it tastes like?
so fucking so one time I got arrested.
That's nice.
Hell yeah. Let me know if you want more.
Thank you.
Yeah. So one time I got arrested, and I'm fucking, they booked me in, whatever, throw me into a cell. Then I'm laying down. I'm like, fuck, there's a dude in there. I'm laying there. I'm like, fuck, kind of smells a little bit. And this guy gets up and he starts kind of like walking around and shit. And boom, it hits me. I'm like, oh shit, fucking smell like shit, like straight shit. So I'm like, fuck, man, you know. And we're in a little ass cell. So fucking so yeah, I'm right there, and I'm trying to be cool, but every once in a while he'll get up and walk around and shit, you know, just fucking smell up the whole fucking place. So I finally had enough of it, you know. Hey, motherfucker, what the fuck? Why you keep fucking walking around and shit? Fucking, it smells, you know. He's like, my bad, dog. He's like, they fucking tased me. 2 cops tased this dude at the same time, and he fucking shit and pissed on himself.
Oh, but they didn't give him new clothes?
No, they just fucking threw him in there.
I mean, you should go take him to a shower.
That's
no?
fucked up, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
fucking, they just threw that motherfucker in the fucking cell. That fool was sitting in his own shit for like 2 days.
That sucks, man.
That's fucked up.
Super fucked up.
That
That's
fool should have
inhumane.
fucking washed his ass in the fucking sink or something.
Why don't you just like, hey, I need to take a shower? Can't you just tell him you need to take a shower?
It's the cops. Cops don't give a fuck.
I mean, if that was me, I would just be like, hey.
I wish he would have. I mean, I wish it was that easier. I'm pretty sure he did. I mean, I don't know.
That seems like a pretty normal request to ask someone to take a shower.
But
like, I'm
you
full
think
of shit.
they're gonna just? It's the cops. Have you ever been arrested before?
No,
No, never been arrested.
No.
Not even. No,
no. I've had handcuffs on me,
it's close enough.
but I haven't been like
You haven't
at
been,
the
like,
jail.
taken in or
No,
anything.
no.
What were your handcuffs on for?
When I was younger, I got this like million candlelight light. It was just a huge, strong light. It's like this big, and I just had it, and we were just like messing around with it, and actually, actually, what we got it for was to pull people over. We figured that we can, like, you know, like my.
So you're in a car or you're driving or what?
I was not driving. No.
You're a passenger?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had someone in my life at that time had a old Lincoln car.
Uh-huh.
And so we could actually, like, it looked like a police car. So I got this light and I thought, look, why don't we try to like pull people over? It'd be funny, you know? And it actually worked, man. We pulled some people over and we're like, shit, what do we do now? And we just like took off. Yeah, I hope whoever got pulled over never listens to this. That would be quite a claim. I mean, we were kids, you know. Nobody got hurt. It was just like.
Yeah, you guys are.
But anyways, I had this light. I actually, that wasn't why I got handcuffed either. We never got caught for anything like that. What we got caught for is I had the light one night and I saw a helicopter, and I thought, let's just see if I can hit that helicopter with the light. And I'm trying to get it, and then I get it. I'm like, oh shit! Like, look how strong this light is. I can hit that helicopter, you know. Then the helicopter throws its lights back on me, and I'm standing in the middle of the street. There's like two of my buddies, and I'm like, shit, let's like put the light away, you know. And when the cops got, so the copter just started like, you know, flying in circles with the light on us.
Yeah.
And we were in front of my friend's house, and his dad runs outside. He's like, "What the hell's going on here?" And yeah, eventually the police showed up, and they were like, I don't remember what happened, dude. I was like 16 or something like that. But I remember the cop just putting us in handcuffs and putting us in back of the car. And then he searched our vehicle, and he found the light. And I think he took it or something. I don't remember if he took it or what happened. But yeah, I was sitting in the back of the car, and just, he was trying to find a charge for me. He was on like the computer, and he found like laser. Like, I guess it's illegal to shine a laser at the helicopter, but it's not, doesn't say anything about a flashlight. So he said, well, I'm gonna have to let you go then. Doesn't say anything about flashlights. I guess, you know, you guys are lucky tonight. And I was like, yeah, I mean, I was telling the cop too, like, I'm not trying to mess with the helicopter. I told him I just got this light, and, you know, we're just having a good time. You know, it's nothing like, we're not like doing anything crazy, you know? I mean, and I think he kind of picked up on that, you know? He kind of was like, yeah, I mean, what the fuck, you know?
Yeah. Just had to scare you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it helped too. My dad, for a long time, does bail bonds.
Oh shit!
Bail bonds.
Hell yeah!
Yeah.
Shout out to
So
the bail bonds, man.
I was always like around that kind of vibe. Like, I saw a lot of people get arrested, and I was like, I don't want to do, like, you know. I mean, I definitely pushed it sometimes, but I kind of, I always kind of walked on the line a little bit, you know. I was like, you know, I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't ever want to be too, like, you know, I never wanted to, like, hurt anybody intentionally. But I would do, like, you know, fast driving was a thing that I really enjoyed. Yeah. In terms of, like, you know, what's, like, against the law. Like, I really like speeding. I remember I used to smoke marijuana before it was legal. It was like a little time, and when I lived in New York, it was not legal yet. And I like the tension with the police. I mean, I always was like really, you know, like I remember one time over here, a cop pulled up to me, and I was talking with my friend, and we weren't doing anything illegal. We're just sitting here having a conversation. Yeah. You know, like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, we're not breaking the law sitting here having a conversation, are we? And I would get into the, you know, like, stand up for myself, and like, why are you acting like a asshole with me, you know? Like, how do I even know you're a cop, you know? Why don't you just call your sergeant over here, because you're just like, obviously you and I aren't like getting along. Like, I don't even want to talk to you, man. Yeah. And a lot of times, like, you know, I try to always like be eye to eye with people, and like with the police, like they have the advantage of like coming over with the light and shit, but I always try to stay cool. I mean, and just like listen, man, like there's nothing. I don't know. Sometimes sometimes there was something going on, but I always
every time there was something going on for me.
Yeah, I tried not to drink too much. Like like in my family, there was some drunk driving cases. Like people got their license suspended. So I think like seeing that also helped. I was like didn't want to do that. I wanted to drive. I didn't want to be arrested. I knew people that got arrested and I didn't see them anymore. And I thought I mean I definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I want to be around and
Yeah.
so like what I was talking to you earlier is like once you make that decision for yourself, like once you get to know yourself and like figure out what's really right for you, then like all those people like really fade off and like just really paying attention to like what's happening around me and just just adjusting and like I didn't want to be arrested. I had like a like paranoid about being arrested. I would always try, like I said, I would always kind of draw the line like, okay, I'm only going to take it to this point, and I'm not going to go too far.
I have no idea how to do that.
Uh-oh.
I have no idea how to.
What's the name of your podcast?
Who knows? Haven't thought of it yet.
No?
Haven't thought of it yet. Probably something to do with Blessed.
All right. Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been in some weird. I remember one time there was a SWAT guy. I was living in New York, and I was in Columbus Circle. It's like where the Trump Tower is. There's a CNN tower, and I was working as a vendor. I was working at a waffle cart, selling waffles on the street. You know those carts where you can push up onto the sidewalk?
Yeah.
And it's like this really fancy place. So every once in a while, there would be somebody where they would need SWAT. Like, Trump Tower's right there. So there would be like these, like, I guess maybe political figures or public figures.
Yeah.
And they would roll in with extra security. And I would see them sometimes, right? And so one night, I'm trying to load up. And I bring the van up. And then I bring the cart to pick it up on the hitch. And there was a SWAT guy right there, and he was just like, I don't know, he was just standing there with his gun. He's like this huge guy, and I'm like, dude, just relax. I mean, like in my mind, I'm thinking that, right? So then when I was getting ready to leave, I said, "Excuse me, brother," and he turns around and he goes, "I'm not your brother." And I'm like, all right, dude. He's like, don't call me dude either. And I'm like, okay, man. Like, I'm just trying to do my job here. Like, I'm moving my cart, like, relax. And then this other guy comes in and he's like, what's the problem here? And I was like, there's no problem. This guy's just being like a dog. I think I said something like that. He's being a dog. He's just like barking at me for no reason. This guy got really offended when I said that. He's like, what? And the guy like kind of stopped him. Yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me? This guy, like, he's like 6'4" or some shit, like, I mean, I'm like 5'9",
yeah.
Like, but he has a gun. Yeah. And like, dude, obviously I'm working here. Meanwhile, somebody goes around in my van, another SWAT guy. There's like 7 of them. They're all like, now everyone's like tripping out on what's happening with me.
No.
And then one guy goes around to him on the driver's seat, takes out the keys, and puts them on the dashboard. He's like, I'm going to need you to see your license. And I'm like, for what? He's like, give me your license. And I was like, you don't need to see my license. He's like, this is ridiculous. I haven't done anything. And he's like, I was like, listen. And I was working. So I was like, okay, like, here's the license. I mean, what's the problem here? I gave him the license, and he said, why haven't you changed to a New York license yet? And I said, well, because I come and go. I live sometimes in California, and then I come to New York, and I work here sometimes. And I ended up, he's like, well, what's your address? I gave him a fake address. But, that was like kind of a weird time. I didn't think I was going to get arrested. But that was like, one of those times where I was like, this is just ridiculous. Like the law was like, I don't know. I think that guy was kind of tripping out.
Yeah, no. Cops do that sometimes. I had that experience.
I've had a cop right here, local guy. We were driving and we had a bong in the car.
Oh shit.
And not a bong. We had a joint, like a big joint.
Uh-huh.
And the guy, we're on our way to Barnes and Noble, and the cop pulls us over, and he's like, obviously you guys are smoking. He takes us out of the car. He like puts the joint out and smashes it, and he says, okay, you guys can just go. But, you know, technically it's a DUI. So, like, if I ever see you guys again doing this.
Yeah. I remember one time, fucking, in Mexico, we got caught like that. We were in fucking Mexico coming back.
Where were you in Mexico?
In TJ.
Oh,
we were about to cross back the border. And I was fucking rolling up a blunt. And we were like, fuck it, roll up a blunt while we're in line for the border. Because it takes like 2 hours, you know. Fucking smoke a blunt and chill. And fucking we end up getting pulled over. The fucking my buddy first off, he's in a fucking Audi, a lowered Audi with tinted windows.
Red flag right
Red
there
flag.
in Mexico.
Red flag in Mexico. He's looking at the fucking cop is like right in front of us. Telling him, don't pass him. Don't pass him. Don't pass him. Motherfucker still goes around him. Right when he goes around him, boom, they pull us over. And yeah, fucking luckily I was able to stash the blunt, but that shit was fucking sketchy, cause we would have been fucked on that one. But
So nothing happened.
Well, he found papers, so he
Yeah.
took money. They always take money.
Yeah,
They
I've
always
had
take
some
money.
stuff like that happen to me in Mexico.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a
They
different
take
world
money.
down there,
Yeah,
man.
they always take money. One time we got fucked with because I wasn't even doing anything. We came out of the strip club, Hong Kong, got into a taxi cab, and the cop fucking pulled over the taxi cab and told him to get out of there in the middle of the TJ at like 2 in the morning. Well, he fucking frisked us all down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they asked for money.
No, we didn't. I don't think we had any money, and we didn't have anything on us, so they didn't really have shit to like.
Yeah,
We didn't have anything on us.
dude, that's happened to me in Mexico a couple times. You get pulled over, but also like it's great. Like, you know, Mexican people that actually live there, like in Mexico, they get pretty fired up too. You know, like one of my cousin that was there, he was like, "What do you want?" You know, to the police, and I was like, "What the hell?" And you know, like, but the same thing. We didn't have anything on us. We were just
Yeah.
And we were thinking to bring, like, we had a joint or something, and we were thinking, oh, why don't we bring it to when we were going to, one of my cousins has a store there in Guadalajara. And we were thinking, oh, when we get there, maybe we'll just relax. And he usually has beers there. So we thought, well, bring a little something. And we didn't. I forgot it, or someone forgot it. And I was happy that that happened.
I bet. It's crazy how shit happens like that. It's just crazy.
We're at about an hour 8.
For sure. You ready to call it? Or?
It's your podcast, bro. I don't know. Why do you have me here? What would you... I'm a financial advisor, and I can help you with any of your trading needs. No, but it's a pleasure being you know, on your first show, man. I'm happy to start this relationship, and I'm looking forward to seeing who you have in here next, man. I got a guy actually. While we were talking, there's a guy here, and it would be nice to have maybe both of you on at the same time. I want to have him on my podcast, so.
Sure.
If you would like to come on my show, I would love to have you
Whenever,
again.
Whenever you invite me, yeah.
Cool, man.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Call it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's your show, man.
Yeah, we're
anything
good,
you want to say before we go?
Let's see. Sorry, smoked 2 blunts while we were sitting here. Fucking No, you know, hopefully this is the start of something good, you know? Hopefully if you listened all the way through, that means you're interested in what the fuck we actually were talking about. know it probably got a little off track sometimes. There's a little bit of bullshit here or there, but at the end of the day, I plan on talking about some real shit, some funny shit, some shit that's gonna make you think, some shit that's gonna make you motivated to do some shit with your life. As I'm finding the motivation to do some shit with my life, and like my boy Dave Paris said, hopefully I have some cool people on here and have some cool, interesting segments. And with the help of him and maybe a couple of other people, we're gonna get this thing going and get something good going. Feel free to look me up, blessed underscore in the West. Actually, no, no underscore, just blessed and then the letter in the West. And then my boy, the original Dave Paris. And, check us out. We'll be doing open mics, we'll be doing some shows, trying to get it cracking. Keep a lookout. Want to say anything,
I
Dave?
stopped it.
All right.
I thought it was a
Eh?
good